Why am I coming back to targets I've already covered before? Normally, you would think that you would only have to cover DeAndre once. And then he sends you his list over Skype. Extremely loud sound quality, horrible video quality, lack of synchronization, obvious Windows Movie Maker effects. The list can go on about all of the problems with your intro, DeAndre, so I think it's best that we just skip it.
Hello guys, this is DeAndre4 and here I am making my top 5 most overrated Pokemon list. Now before I get on with the list, let me say a few things. The Pokemon on my overrated list are all good. I think every one of them good and I like every one of them. And I just think they should get a little bit too much attention. That's all. I will also avoid putting certain Pokemon on this list, mainly because they've been done to death already and I want to be a little bit more unique.
You could have been unique with the points you brought up against Charizard, or maybe the placement of where Charizard is, rather than, it being number one. Then again, knowing that it's not on your list, that should say something about your ability to make up points. Oh, hi, obvious leaking off of Lady's list. How are you doing today?
Number 5 on this list is Volcarona. I can already hear the fanboys trying to start a flame war. Good thing I got the Flash Fire ability.
That joke was horrible and you know it.
Volcarona is a quadruple weakness to rock type moves, which makes Stuff Art users a pain in the ass. And this is something that I see a lot of people criticize Charizard for, and to have a complete 180 and praise Volcarona like it doesn't have the same weakness at all.
You probably couldn't see it because his text editing is bad, but he brought up Ho-Oh as an argument against Volcarona. The argument doesn't stack up. Ho-Oh is an uber tier Pokemon. It has an ability that recovers health. It has not one, but two moves that recover half of its health. It has bulk that trumps both Charizard and Volcarona. So the comparison doesn't work. And speaking of bulk,
And also, another weakness of Volcarona had is its low defense, which is basically like a big kidney sign. Any Pokemon that can outspeed Volcarona and hit it with a decent physical attack have a very good chance of taking it out, which is a huge flaw, especially because its speed is only 100, which is good, but still a lot of Pokemon can outspeed it.
1. You're forgetting about its ability Flame Body, which has a 30% chance of burning the opponent once it's hit with a physical attack. And a burn status decreases the attack stat. So, this can either be used as a way to decrease the damage dealt to Volcarona, or B, a parting gift that does continuous damage to the opponent until it faints. B. Here are all of the Pokemon in the OU tier that outspeed Volcarona. Here are all of the Pokemon that can outspeed Volcarona and attack using their physical attack stat. And this is the group of Pokemon that outspeed Volcarona and will attack using their physical attack stat. Not a very large list, now is it? And Roman numeral III, all of these options are pretty much banking on the person using Volcarona to A, be out of options, or B, not know what they're doing. In competitive battling, where you pretty much have to know what you're doing in order to win. If anything, this list is showing that you don't know what you're doing.
And I know someone might bring up Quiver Dance, but pretty much 80% of people who use Volcarona have Quiver Dance on it, making it very predictable and skilled opponents can be able to take them out.
Well, good luck with that, because if you can recall, Quiver Dance increases special attack, special defense, and speed. Volcarona's three highest stats, effectively increasing Volcarona's sweeping abilities and its bulk at the same time. Plus, the variety aspect doesn't come with Quiver Dance, but the other moves Volcarona's going to be able to use. because it has access to Bug Buzz, Fiery Dance, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Hidden Power, Roost, Rest, Substitute, and more. Hi, DeAndre Scrappy Editing Software.
Number 4 on this list is Jolteon. Now, only going after Jolteon used as a special attacker, not used as scout, because I know a lot of people use Jolteon for scouts and just vote switch away.
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore one of Jotion's better traits in order to make it seem like it's more overrated. You okay with that? Okay, thanks.
Now, Jolteon is a very fast Pokemon, and that's pretty much the only good thing that it got going for it, that it is really fast. Sure, it got good special attack, but that special attack is not amazing or spectacular.
Yeah, a really high stat is only good. In that case, I'm assuming that base 109 is only meh, and it's only when we get to something like 135 that it gets to, it's pretty good.
Which means that a Pokemon with decent bolt can be able to take a hit and be able to strike back. Which is something that you do not want to happen to your Jolteon, mainly because they have low defenses.
Base 95 is low, huh? Wow, your standards for stats really are high.
And let's not forget its horrible move pool, where pretty much the only special move that can learn other than electric are Bug, Ghost, Psychic, and Normal. And so I might bring a Hidden Power, but that can only cover one type.
Wrong. Hidden power can only be one type. However, unless you're using something like Dragon, hidden power can cover multiple types.
And I find it weird that people praise it as one of the best special attackers ever, when its special attack is only above average or good at best. And some people might bring up the Life Orb and choice specs, but those items are double-edged swords that either limit you to one move or to drain your health after each attack.
This is only showing me that you know jack shit about risk versus reward.
Volcarona, who not only have a better special attack, but also better both with the HP and special defense.
What if you want an electric resist? Or what if you wanted a Pokemon that can hit fast and hit hard? I'm not saying there aren't other options that can also benefit your team, but you're making it sound like, oh, Jolteon sucks when it doesn't.
And some people might say, so what, Umbreon can only be used at a wall. Some Pokemon can only be used in one way and still deserve their attention. But I find it to be outclassed by other walls, such as Sparrowthorn, Fortress, Porygon 2, Bronzong, and possibly Vaporeon, which is debatable.
The only two Yu-Gi-Oh Pokemon in that group were Bronzong and Porygon 2. You know, it just astounds me how many ridiculous comparisons you're willing to make.
And the reason why I think those are better walls is because of the fact that they either have entry hazard moves, other stats inducing moves other than Toxic or Confuse Ray, or it can actually defend itself in the battle.
Even though Umbreon's main role is as a team supporter, using Heal Bell and Wish to recover the team.
And if someone successfully shoots Taunt on Umbreon, you only have two options left.
Option number one is to go on the offensive. And with Umbreon's pop gun-like attack set, the only thing you have to worry about is foul play, which can leave you in the mercy of special attacking Pokemon, Pokemon with good physical defense, or Pokemon who are resistant to that attack, including most fighting types.
And option number two is...
Well, you're not even trying for your runaway joke. You couldn't think of something more unique or original? Like this?
which basically give your opponent a free turn.
Not necessarily. What if the opponent uses an attack that the Pokemon you switch into resists entirely? In which case, you might get a free turn.
And some people might say, well, that can work for other walls as well. But at least for some other walls, such as Skarmory or Vaporeon, or even Porygon 2, they can at least dish back some damage if they've ever been taunted.
Porygon 2 is a tank, so the comparison doesn't work. Skarmory and Vaporeon are an OU, so they don't work as well. And even then, Skarmory has Brave Bird, which is resisted by your common Steel and Rock type, and Vaporeon will only have Scald and occasionally Ice Beam, which your common Water type will be able to resist as well.
And even on the Pokemon Power Bracket, Darkrai is easily one of the most popular Sinnoh legendaries out there, with its only competition being Giratina.
At this point, you're not even trying to hide the fact that you're pretty much trying to use Leedy's points from his top 5 overrated Pokemon list and use them on this list. Only problem? They're not working. The reason why this doesn't work is because when Leedy used the power bracket as an example, that was because Mew won. Darkrai didn't even get into the semifinals. Or when you criticized Volcarona for pretty much always having Whoever Dance on each of its sets, when Leedy did a similar thing with Feraligatr and Dragon Dance. The difference? Dragon Dance didn't help increase Feraligatr's bulk.
The main problem I have with Darkrai is it overly reliant on its sleeping move, Darkboard, and pretty much this whole Pokemon is entirely reliant on sleep.
It has a special attack stat that is on par with Volcarona and a speed stat that is almost equal to Jolteon. Yeah, totally reliant on sleep. And even if it was, that's kind of justified in its ability Bad Dreams, where it takes off 1/16th of the opponent's health at the end of every turn where Darkrai is on the field with another Pokemon that's asleep.
Which make it very predictable and give you a lot of options to counter it.
Not really. If anything, you're only given 3 options. Option 1, have a Pokemon with Sleep Talk. Option 2, have a Pokemon with a Chesto Berry or a Lumberry. Or option number 3, have one Pokemon take the Dark Void and switch into a faster Pokemon.
And I really don't see why it gets so much praise, because a grass type with a chlorophyll ability and sleep powder can do the same thing just as effectively. And I always see how some people say that Darkrai can beat Mewtwo just because they're a dark type. 2 words, Aura Spirit. And another reason that people always overhype Darkrai is this role in the movie. Now, the main reason why people always say Darkrai is the best Pokemon ever for his role in the movie is mainly because of 2 reasons. One of the main reasons is emotion. But it really doesn't help all that much in my eyes, mainly because a lot of other Pokemon can show emotions as well.
Except that's not it. It's not the emotions that Darkrai has, it's the emotions that it elicits out of us. Because this pretty much counters DeAndre's next point, and because I don't want to spoil the rise of Darkrai just yet, I'm just going to skip to number 1 now.
Number 1 on my list is Blaziken. Now, Blaziken is a Pokemon that I can find just as overrated as Charizard. Now, my main problem with Blaziken is the fact that most of the moves that give it notorious powers can cause recoil in some form or way, such as Flare Blitz or High Jump Kick, especially if it got a life orb, make sure your chicken won't live long.
And that's pretty much the rest of the video. DeAndre not gained the concept of risk versus reward. DeAndre, throughout this entire list, you've only been trying to argue with us about their competitive stance. Except for Darkrai, but even then, I only think you did that because Logan listed that as his favorite Pokemon. And the more you talked about competitive battling, the more I realized how little you knew about competitive battling, if at all. On top of poor joke delivery, poor audio quality, and poor quality in general, this was just a rubbish list. Final thoughts.